from the Cannes Film Festival. Today, an actress that most of us know, but until recently, probably not for the right reasons. In her 20s, her skyrocketing career was driven off course by the tabloids who were obsessed by her love life, especially her relationship with Jude Law. So she disappeared. She went off to have a baby. Now she's back to reclaim her place at Hollywood's top table, and she's on the Cannes Film Festival jury. Let's go and meet Sienna Miller. Sienna Miller, hello.
Hello.
Your film Foxcatcher was here at Cannes last year. It won a prize. Now you're back on the jury. What's it like deciding the fate of some of the world's biggest filmmakers?
I've tried not to think too much about that. I think the way that we're approaching it as a jury is to really find what we celebrate in each thing, and obviously eventually there will be winners. But there are a lot of prizes, and I really am deferring to the superior and more knowledgeable members of this group. But just to be a part of that conversation and to see these films and then discuss them with this group has been a totally enriching and fascinating experience so far.
And you've been in two of the best films the last 12 months. Some might say Foxcatcher and American Sniper. How are you feeling?
I feel great. You never really know what anything is going to be, and the success of American Sniper was enormous, and again, Foxcatcher is, I think, such a magnificent piece of work. So, not myself, but as a film.
Babe, come home, okay? You know, we miss you.
Okay.
And on American Sniper, you were with Clint Eastwood. What's he like?
He is sort of everything you would hope he would be. He's completely enigmatic and charming and has a very clear idea of what he wants. He also does one or two takes. It's a totally unique experience in that sense. But to work with somebody who I grew up in awe of and is an icon of cinema was just extraordinary. I still can't quite believe it.
And in both films, you play the wife of a murdered hero. Did you make the link at the time?
I didn't, and actually it didn't really dawn on me until I started shooting American Sniper. Somehow I didn't make the correlation. No, there's no kind of widow parts that I'm seeking out, but it just happened that way.
And you met both of the women.
Yes.
What was that like for you?
You know, it's very useful when you're playing someone. Nancy Schultz was on set of Foxcatcher, and that was quite intimidating. And Taya wasn't on set, but had been completely invaluable in terms of research and the process of figuring out who she was in these moments.
And one of your upcoming films reunites you with your American Sniper co-star Bradley Cooper. It's called Adam Jones. You both play chefs. You both spent some time in a kitchen together. Tell us about that.
I trained with Marcus Waring, 2-star Michelin chef, which was extraordinary, and I loved cooking always, but now I can really cook turbot very well. I've cooked about 50,000 pieces of turbot. It was really funny and surreal because we came straight off the back of American Sniper, where he was enormous with dip in his mouth and a huge kind of Texan drawl and guns, and then suddenly he's throwing pans at my head and I'm shouting, "Yes, chef." And it was hilarious. We worked very well together and are really great friends.
And your career really seems to be in a different place now. Are you making different choices?
What I'm drawn to is different. I used to really focus on the role, and now I think I'm much more focused on the director, regardless of the size of the part, perhaps. And then, you know, you get cast by one person and that leads to another, and it really is a domino effect, and it's luck and it's timing. And
so what happened? Because when you were in your 20s, you were everywhere, all over the front covers, then you kind of disappeared. This year, you're in 5 or 6 films, including Mississippi Grind and Ben Affleck's Live by Night. What changed?
Nothing. I mean, I kind of did disappear. I had a child. I did a piece of work when I was newly pregnant, which came out just after I had a baby, and it was kind of critically well received, and I think that probably helped. And also, I really, I sued paparazzi in England, so a lot of the attention that I had been a victim of, that went away, and I think that really helped, just to allow me to become kind of the actor that I wanted to be without everybody's perceptions constantly getting in the way.
So did having a baby and becoming a mum affect sort of your career choices or the way you looked at?
I think, the great thing about this, although I do have all these films coming out, American Sniper I worked 3 weeks on. it just doesn't look like that when you see the film. But a lot of these parts are really kind of dipping in and out. And while they're amazing projects, it's not like I'm committing to a 5-month period. So I think the timing is really important with the child. And of course, everybody changes when they have a child. It's the most transformative experience you could ever have.
In Hollywood, lots of actresses kind of stop in their 20s because of the pressures that are on women. But you seem to be ready to take on Hollywood now.
I don't know anyone who's stopped in their 20s. All my friends that I've had since I was 20s are actresses are still working. I think, you know, if that's what you want to do and that's your passion, then whatever the pressures are, you continue. But and I don't see Hollywood as this kind of entity that I need to attack. I've always felt a part of that community, whatever my role in it was, and I have worked consistently since I was 22. And but I do theatre, and you know, Hollywood doesn't kind of define my job. I just did a play on Broadway. I'm going to do another one next year, I think. So it's the combination of it all.
And there's lots of talk at the Cannes Film Festival this year about equality between men and women in film. I mean, do you think there's equality now in cinema?
I think there's a big problem in all aspects of the world in terms of gender equality, but I also feel quite confident that this past year, there are conversations taking place which are quite exciting. It does feel like there is a global conversation and an awareness, and people are doing active things to really rebalance what is still, in my opinion, unbalanced. And Hollywood is no different, but hopefully we're making headway.
What do you think about other sort of world cinema then? Because we're at the centre of that here at the Cannes Film Festival. I mean, you've worked a lot in Hollywood, in Britain as well, but what about other cinema?
I think Cannes is really the epicentre of where those films come to, and to have to see 2 of them a day. I mean, I will have watched so many films by the end of this, and it really does broaden your horizons. And I've fallen kind of even more in love with cinema as a result of it.
How important is Cannes, do you think, then, when it comes to cinema?
You know, without it, a lot of these films wouldn't be seen, and to have that Cannes logo on top of your film is just hugely beneficial in terms of distribution if they haven't got it, and in terms of, you know, people will sit down to watch the films that were in competition at Cannes. And
so what do you think about the movies you've seen so far?
I'm not allowed to say anything except that they're all brilliant.
And what about the red carpet then? Are you going on the red carpet every single night here at Cannes?
No. We do the opening and closing ceremonies, and then we are committed to 2 to 3 red carpets. So I think I've done 2.
So what happens straight after the Cannes Film Festival for you?
I have 2 months off, which I'm very excited about. And then I am doing a film that James Gray is directing in August, and then Live by Night that Ben Affleck is now in November. And then maybe a play next year. But there are gaps in between. So yeah, just motherhood, really.
Sienna, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.